Dave Scott Hub Media. I'm with Leigh from Simple Natural Foods. It's our March 2025 show. Boy, we're going to get into springtime soon. Are you excited?
Yes.
Me too.
Super excited. Yeah.
It's been a winter. Let's just say that, right? It's been a winter.
Typical Canadian winter.
You know, and you and I were talking off air just about winter and sort of the fun things you get to do when you're outside when there is snow, and how you can come in and food's always that comfort food, comforting thing when you come in from the cold, isn't it?
It is, and sometimes I convince the kids to go outside by telling them, "Oh, when you come back in, you can have a cookie or you can have this."
Oh, so that's what you would do. And what kind of cookies would you be offering today? Let's just look at it that way.
So yes, today I'm making almond butter thumbprint cookies.
Almond butter thumbprint cookies. Okay.
Yeah. So they're pretty hands-on. You're going to roll them up. You're going to press your thumb into them, make a little reservoir to put fun stuff in the middle.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Good to make with kids. It's fun, right?
Now, what kind of flour are we using? Because we don't want to get into the gluten stuff, right?
No, it's gluten-free. So I'm using almond meal. So the difference between almond flour and almond meal is that this is the whole almond. So almond flour has had the skin removed, but the almond meal is the whole almond with the skin and everything on it. So you're getting more fiber and more nutrition from the almond meal as well.
So do you have to grind that up? Like what's?
No, we sell it like this.
Oh, okay. So it's already in that form. I gotcha.
So super easy. You're going to use 2 cups to make a full batch, which is going to give you probably about 18 thumbprint cookies. And then your almond butter, which you can get either roasted or raw. So the roast is very tasty, but a little higher nutritional value, but all very good. Lots of protein, lots of calcium, magnesium in both almond meal and almond butter. So 2 cups of the almond meal, 1 cup of your butter. Now you can use a different butter. You can use peanut butter. You could use tahini. You can use whatever you want. But I just decided to stick with the almond flavor. And I also added a 1/4 cup of brown sesame seeds. So sesame seeds are high in potassium, iron, zinc, calcium, magnesium. All of these nuts and seeds are high in protein as well. And then maple syrup to sweeten it.
Can I ask you about the almond meal and the texture and what it tastes like? I've never had it.
You've never had it? So
no.
It's very moist and soft. The meal does have fiber in it, so you're going to get like a slight grit to it, but it sticks together really well. So it's good for making these types of drop cookies because they hold their form. And it does taste nutty. It really just tastes like almonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
it's a little bit sweet too.
So you're just mixing all this together with the butter and the meal? 1/3
cup of maple syrup. Then you mix it all together and it forms sort of a sticky dough like this.
Yeah.
Which is very easy to roll into balls with your hands. So just a 1-inch little ball like this. And then you're going to place it on a parchment lined baking sheet. And then this is the fun part where you take your thumb and press it right into the middle and the cookies spread out.
Yeah.
And you've got this nice little reservoir for either your jam. I've got blueberry. I'm going to put strawberry jam in these ones.
Cool.
Yeah, but you could also fill it with some more ground seeds like pumpkin seeds. You could put cacao nibs in there as well, like apple butter. We were talking about that. If you can get your hands on apple butter, that's really good. So yeah, you just fill that little reservoir up with your jam, press it in. You bake it at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. You want the jam to start to bubble, and that means it's going to dry out a little bit so that it sticks to the cookie and it's not sliding off. And the ones I made earlier, I used unsweetened blueberry jam.
Oh, those look delicious. I
Yeah.
love blueberries. I'm
Yeah.
good. This is one of those ones I got to try. So, how long did you mix when you're mixing your almond butter and almond flour together, millet? How long did you do that? A minute, a couple
Oh,
minutes, just to a smooth texture?
2 or 3 minutes is all it
Okay.
takes. Super, super easy. It comes together really fast just with a spoon. You don't need any fancy utensils or anything.
And don't worry, folks. I watched Leigh wash her hands before we even started the show.
Always, I always wash my hands.
And you can buy all this at Simple Natural Foods, correct?
We have all the ingredients except for the jam. So you'd
Oh.
have to find your favorite jam somewhere. Or if you decide to do other filling, like with the nibs or something, we have that. Yeah.
And a lot of folks still like to make their own jam too. So that's
Yeah. If you have,
what a great way.
yeah, my sister made this delicious wild black raspberry jam, and that would be really good too. So
And then
anything.
what? Once you're done cooking these, or in the fridge, is that how you like to store them, or?
I keep them on the counter for a couple days in an airtight container. If you're going to keep them longer, put them in the fridge, and you can also freeze them for a month or so.
And you
And they,
brought up,
oh,
sorry to interrupt. You brought up a great point too, because almonds are not about, this is for the kids at home.
yeah, yeah, there's a strict no nut policy. So
Right.
this is like an after school treat, maybe like in between activities, because I might come home and maybe go to skating. So they need something to eat and gymnastics and that sort of stuff.
And it's only, by the sounds of it, it's like a 20-minute thing. I mean, obviously you got to preheat the oven, but other than that, you get your ingredients.
I mean, after you're done baking them, it's probably less than half an hour. So it's pretty easy.
And the other part, let's talk a little bit about that, because I haven't used the almond flour, the almond butter, but talk about you sort of mentioned the nutrients and how the fiber and how good it is for you. Let's just go over that real quick, comparative to a regular cookie that you're going to buy in the store.
Yeah, well, if you were buying like a wheat base, especially a white flour, I mean the fiber content's nil really, unless there's some seeds in it or something. Yeah, so the fiber content, the protein content, you're probably getting in one cookie, 3-4 grams of protein, a couple grams of fiber as well, with all the seeds in there too. So yeah, and lots of like electrolyte type minerals like potassium and magnesium. The sesame seeds are high in iron too, so good for an energy boost. Get you pumped for getting out there for spring.
Yes, exactly. And when we were talking about it off air too, and I don't think we really realize, like you said, this is a half-hour thing. It's done pretty quick, and the health benefits are so far ahead of the curve on this. You know what I mean? As far as just buying something that's store-bought, that's just, like you said, white flour that's just going in and that's it, not doing anything, way too much sugar. This is a controlled environment that you're creating so that your kids are getting the best of both worlds. They're getting something that's decently healthy for them and a treat.
Yeah, exactly. You can feel good about it. You know what's in it. You know that it's fresh. It hasn't had any BHT put in the packaging or any kind of weird preservatives that you can't pronounce.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to last long either. Like, I
No.
mean, the kids are going to eat them up. You're going to eat them up. Your husband's going to eat them up before they're, they're not going to go bad. I mean, that's the least of your worries, right?
Yeah. And you can play around with it. So that's fun too. And like I made them with peanut butter and strawberry jam. And it was literally like having a tasty little PB&J sandwich.
Can I throw you a curveball?
Sure.
Could you make those with the almond millet? Could you make pancakes out of those?
Oh, well, it's a really thick
Right.
batter. You'd have to thin it out somehow. Maybe.
But it's thick enough that it would hold together, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe almond milk. And
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that would be the sort of the cross, because you could use the flour, the milk, and the butter. Oh, this might be. And then throw your blueberries in. Look, I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
And it's gluten-free.
We'll have to experiment with that.
Pancakes. Yes. And you can share that with your kids. You can say, hey, we're going to make pancakes.
Yeah. Anything goes.
But that's the type of thing parents need to explore, because you can do these cool little recipes. And like we just talked about, like the cookies, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, we can make pancakes. Hey, we can make tarts. Hey, we could. And I think that's the important part of it is once you start, it's endless. Like you can just go and play with all these things.
Yeah, it's the snowball effect, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, you start with one ingredient, you make one thing, then you think, well, what's the next thing we can do with this?
Do you find yourself doing that at home? I mean, obviously you love to play in the kitchen. Do you sort of invent these little recipes?
Well, sometimes I make them up. Sometimes something triggers me and I'm like, oh, I need to try making that because I've never done it before. And I can never follow a recipe. I always have to tweak it a little bit and try something different, because if I feel like it's calling for white sugar, I'm going to try it with coconut sugar or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Always tweaking things a little bit, and sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but
And the kids are always, hey, try this.
yeah.
I love that you do these things, because I think in society, we've gotten away from doing these things, and we need to get back to that a lot more, just to eating healthier for our bodies. And it's funny because I'll walk through the health food section and I'm always trying to find a treat. It's funny how that our mind will go there, right? Never grocery shop when you're hungry, obviously.
No.
But then you're always looking for that treat. And then you and I will hang out and do these cool recipes. And then I'm like, just make it. Like it's that easy, right?
Yeah. And like my motto is always to keep it as simple as possible. So
I got to ask, in the spring, can we do some salads? Can you make some cool dressings or something? Can we hang out and do that?
Yeah, we could definitely come up with a few dressings.
Yeah, I think that's because, like you said, we're getting through winter. We're going to get into it'll be nice weather soon, and I always enjoy a good salad. Couple more things. Talk about a lot of folks don't realize your background, because they think we just do this show. But tell folks about your background, because I think that's important that people understand. What you're talking about.
Oh, well, I am a registered nutritionist. Yes, so I did go to school for a couple years and get a diploma, and that's what we did. We cooked at school. We experimented with food, and we experimented with fermentation and all kinds of stuff. And we talked about what was the nutritional value of all of these things, and is it best to have it raw, or do you need to cook it? And all of those things have come together and just sort of influence how I make treats, which is mainly what I focus on here. Fun and easy treats, right? But yeah, that's my background. I've been doing it for more than 15 years now. So
I like that you can go into, like, with you and Laura at Simple Natural Foods, when you go in there, because then you've got sort of this, your specialty and her specialties, and you can sort of figure out, you can help folks figure out what's best for them, because everybody is so different, right? Physically, what our bodies can. You and I were talking about, again, this off air, what your body can absorb and what it doesn't, and what is good for you and what isn't. So yeah. I do appreciate that you guys do that. I just want to give you a quick plug for that. Simple Natural Foods, Queensway.
I like to talk to people, and get to know what's going on with them. And it's amazing once you get them talking, they already know what is good and what isn't good for them. Sometimes they just have to start talking about it, and then they say, oh, when I eat that, I don't feel that good. It's okay. Okay, well, then that's not for you. Let's find an alternative and give this a try. And people just have to listen to their bodies.
And one thing that you brought up to me at the start of the show, well, before the show too, sorry, folks, we were talking about hydration and just the importance of it. And I think that's a quick reminder to folks, right? Make sure this time of year, because if it's dry in the house and you're not getting enough electrolytes or drinking enough water, it's critical, isn't it?
It's super critical. You're going to feel more energetic. Your immune system is going to be supercharged as well if you stay hydrated. And you just overall, you have less aches and pains, better brain function, less brain fog, and you feel happier all around. And think about doing an electrolyte or a Celtic salt or something like that. Get that into your diet, so you're getting those minerals that help keep you hydrated as well. So
yeah, it's critical, isn't it? I think that's
and coffee and caffeinated beverages that we all love, very dehydrating too. So
you got to replace it.
You have to replace it. Yeah, it's not like you can have it, but a cup of coffee depletes about 2 cups of water from your body as a diuretic effect.
I didn't know that. Really, that much?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I got to cut back on the coffee in the morning.
Just keep drinking that water.
That's right. That's all I can do. But yeah, you always educate me and you always teach me something. So I appreciate you doing this. Folks, give these cookies a try. I think I'm definitely gonna. This looks pretty simple that I might be able to handle it. So I'll next month you can quiz me if my cookies worked out. Okay. You know they're going to be 90% jam. No, I'm just.
Hey, whatever.
All right. Well,
Works.
thanks for doing this, Leigh. Take care, and I look forward to catching up with you next month.
Bye. Thanks.